Hey guys, welcome to the Hands On Podcast. I'm Jim Miller, joined by the regular crew. Our father Mike sitting next to me. We got Dan Miller and Pat McGurn behind the technical stuff, still drumming around. So if anything messes up, it's all his fault. It feels weird. It feels weird because like our last two that we've done, we did from out in the main part of the gym doing the lights out shootout with the A&W Nature Labs guys. And then we did our last one sitting in a queen-size bed with Dwayne Finley and the A&W Nature Labs guys. So, yeah, it's been cool being able to do this and still go live and do it like mobile. And that was kind of the setup that we wanted. So when you see the picture of the floor in front of us, there's wires and shit everywhere. But that's for a reason. Because we don't know what we're doing. And but yeah, being able to go mobile is pretty cool. So so we're going to be touching on the fights that happened this last Sunday, the UC Fight Night. Rodriguez Penn. There were a couple decisions in there that folks didn't seem to like. Easy on the hot mic, dude.
Sorry.
And we were out at the ATA's, the Archery Trade Association show in Indianapolis. We snuck our way in there. People thought we were retailers. Yeah. I stumbled over my words when somebody was asking me if we sell their products.
You lied. You should have lied. You're like, Pat, do we carry
I just started
them?
looking at Pat. And then there's some fights this weekend in Bellator, and so we'll be hitting on that and how I think that Chael Sonnen crossed the line. But yeah, it's so the fights.
Hey, Devin Jacome is excited to see you on in Brooklyn.
All right. So Pat's going to be reading every single question.
I've been accused of not reading questions, and I just try to time them better. But
he's going to be interrupting us now.
The main men behind the podcast have requested that I interrupt, and I feel like just being a douchebag about it.
All right. You could still have a conversation. Like you could, if you feel like it.
There you go.
See, but you're still supposed to read stuff.
Yeah. So you don't mind if I talk to our listeners? Thank you, Jim. That's
you can talk to the you can talk to the listeners. Just make sure you're working the switcher. You're supposed to be bouncing back and forth between. All right, main event of the fight night, Penn Rodriguez. That was the longest layoff.
Yeah.
I think of any fighter has had like in between UFC fights or something like that, right? It was quite a while. And when the hell was the last time BJ won? It was like 2000.
A long time. 2007. No, 2010, I think.
Yeah, 2010, 2011.
Oh, yeah, 7
you
years.
can fact check us.
7 years, yeah.
You know.
2010.
And granted, that was like you're talking about.
It's not like he fought.
Yeah, GSP, Nick
Frankie.
Diaz, Frankie.
His last win was Matt Hughes in 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
You know, and all these guys were. I mean, most of them were bigger and champs and all this stuff. And dude, Rodriguez he's pretty nasty.
He is nasty.
He's definitely. Well, what?
Well, not a test against BJ.
No. BJ's not the same BJ that he was.
He's not.
He's older. He's a little slower, but that kid he's nasty. He's got some fantastic kicks, and his timing is great. His athleticism.
He was unpredictable. Yeah. I was impressed. I'm a fan.
I was watching some of the pre-shows, and he was hitting pads, and he was doing these spinning back things, and I was like, man, that's not going to work against BJ Penn. It looked fancy with pads, but, man, he changed my mind.
Yeah. He looked good, man.
You know, and it sucks. It sucks, like, you know, when we started fighting, BJ Penn was
the man.
Yeah, the man. You know,
he still is the man.
He still is. I'm saying that, like,
fight wise,
yes. Yeah. Like when I was fighting, and or coming up and fighting, he was the guy I was training to beat.
Yeah.
From day one that I stepped inside Planet Jiu-Jitsu in 2005, it was to fight BJ Penn. I wasn't trying to beat some local guy with 1 or 2 fights. Like, I was training to fight him. So it sucks seeing him, he's 38 now.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not old in terms of, the other weight classes, but he's fighting at 145 now.
Yeah.
And even at 155 and at 170, that's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a 205 pounder or a heavyweight where it's not so much of a speed game, you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's just, as you go down,
yeah, it's so much
down
faster.
in the weight classes, yeah, and that's the thing is you can get stronger, you can get better, but you can't keep your speed. You can't keep your reaction time. So that's what sucks about it.
I agree, and I've been reading some of the message boards and talking to people.
Well, there's your problem.
And everyone's like, a lot of people are saying that BJ shouldn't have taken this fight and that this is how he's going to be remembered. And it rubs me the wrong way. It drives me nuts. Like, if you remember BJ Penn for this fight, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Like, BJ Penn helped build this sport. He is a legend. And, he didn't win, but
this fight does not define his career.
Not at all. In fact, I give him some credit because BJ didn't need the money. There was nothing forcing BJ to do this except for the fact that BJ is a fighter. He will be a fighter when he's 60, and good for him for still doing it because he loves it.
Yeah.
And that's why he was so good to watch.
Yeah, there's that, I don't know I don't really know what it is. People are probably, our 6 listeners are going to get pissed when you say this, but it's like,
hey, there's 7.
There's 7. It's that.
Why do you always degrade our listeners?
I don't degrade our listeners. No, I degrade
not gonna
MMA
get mad.
fans. Our listeners are cool because they like to hunt and shit, and build stuff and do burly man things, and sit in the bed with 2 other dudes. But like that attitude of, oh, you're only as good as your last fight.
Yeah.
That's like the American Western ideal, and unfortunately we kind of like push that onto like Japan as well, because Pride, it wasn't about that. Pride was about the way you fought, the heart you showed in the fight. So it didn't matter if you got your ass kicked, because sometimes it's not your night. I mean, those guys, sometimes it wasn't, they were cycled off or something like that. They just they did a different cocktail than normal, but yes, like that attitude that, oh, this is what he's going to be remembered as. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
It's bullshit.
it is. He was the first 2-weight class champ. Fought Lyoto Machida at fucking 205.
Yeah.
There are a handful of people walking this planet that like, if they criticize me about the way that I fight, that I'd like take it to heart. He's one of them. He's always going out, and granted, everybody's fucks up.
Yeah.
And I might not agree with everything he does outside. I might not even agree with everything he does inside, but he's always fought with like heart. He's always fought to be a fighter. Never went out to point fight guys. Never went out to just squeak by, in a victory, and didn't care who the hell he was fighting and would do it.
Yeah. There's a guy that there aren't many fighters even nowadays that would go up that many weight classes and fight somebody like Lyoto Machida.
No. I mean, he was
He
chubby as hell.
He was chubby as hell, but he still was only at the time a 70-pounder.
Yeah.
And
Was he like 5'10"?
Yeah. I mean, the guy, he's
He's a fighter at the end of the day, and not everybody in the UFC has that just
5'9".
Fuck it, I'll fight mentality. And
Yeah.
BJ has it in spades.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still kind of cool that he's still competing.
Yeah.
You know, that a lot of the guys have been forced out, you know. Now, granted, it wasn't a very good performance, but still, it's you know, to be competing and to have competed in when?
Yeah, he competed at UFC 31, May 4th, 2001. I mean, that's some longevity, man.
Yeah.
And I got to say too, I think whoever created that matchup gave BJ the worst possible matchup. If they had given him a guy who was a good jiu-jitsu guy, or even like a wrestler, I think he would have done a lot better. Did good against Hughes, he did good against Shirk, but to give him a dynamic, quick striker has got to be BJ's worst matchup at this point in his career.
Especially at this point in his career.
Exactly. Yeah,
a guy who's like super explosive.
But who are you going to put him against? You can't. Put
There's plenty of guys you can't fought.
You can't put him against somebody out of the top 15. He's BJ Penn. He's fucking BJ Penn.
It doesn't matter.
You're not going to
BJ Penn off of a.
You could have given him a wrestler or a grappler, and it would have been a different fight. You know, Rodriguez is a dynamic striker. It was the worst fight for him, possibly.
Yeah, probably. But again, you don't know who turned that fight down. You don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that also go into it, you know, besides just the offer to fight him.
And good for Rodriguez for taking that fight. For Rodriguez, that's a dangerous fight.
It is.
You know, if if he slips up for a second on the ground, he's lost a limb or he's getting choked. So.
So the co-main, Lausanne held. Controversial decision, I guess. You know,
I think so. I watched the fight and I thought Marcin won.
Yeah.
He had control. I don't know.
I would have to watch it again.
I watched it.
I was leaning a little bit towards Held, thinking that he won.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The way that since January 1st, though, the way that the fights are scored is different.
It is.
And I haven't, it hasn't had enough time to kind of settle in for me yet.
Yeah.
I thought that Held, not only so he's taking him down, but he's not doing anything with it. So those don't score anything.
He was passing though.
He did a couple times, yeah.
That's what I don't.
But
really
I thought that Held started to win the striking, and I
thought he was winning the striking too.
I don't know,
controlling him against the cage and controlling the position. I don't know where they scored for Joe. I don't know.
I think
it was. I think he won. He won the first round strictly on that that first flurry.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with aggression and attempts to finish the fight scoring more. It's just a new system, so there's definitely you got to get used to it. But it was a tough fight and two guys who were extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
But Held goes out against Diego and then and asks for Lausanne, in a second fight, and now the kid's dropped 2 in a row. I don't think he's going to get cut, but
no.
Those are two tough fights to come in on, and it's it's a tough break.
I think maybe we're seeing the next evolution of more intelligent MMA scoring, right? Like just because you get a takedown doesn't mean you're winning, especially if the guy on the bottom is attempting submissions and is doing more damage. And I'm not saying in this specific fight, but I kind of like where it's going. Before
there are some new scoring that I think is going to help, but it is hard to get used to because you're so used to watching it scoring it the way it was scored, and it's like now all of a sudden it's brand new.
Because the thing is, the thing of it is that a takedown is still controlling the grappling.
Yeah.
Now it might not be aggressive in more of like a trying to end the fight type move,
Yeah.
but it's definitely you're definitely in control. I mean, for that moment when you're taking somebody down, it's kind of showing off and
Mm-hmm.
and showing your dominance in the wrestling aspect of it.
But let's say you get the takedown, and then you have to fight out of a triangle, and then you have to fight out of an armbar, and then the
Well, yeah, but that's still. I
And
mean,
even the old
to
way they
yeah,
scored
to
it,
it in the
you would
old,
get,
it was more difficult for the bottom guy, but there were still quite a few fights where guys won
off the back,
off their back.
Yeah.
So what do you see as being different?
They're looking for. Like they're almost it's weird because it's kind of they brought in some of that like judging it as a fight, whoever
Yeah.
comes closer to finishing the fight type thing from Pride, but then they're still doing it as 3 rounds,
Yeah.
which is bizarre too because they said that 10-8s are going to become a lot easier and 10-7s are going to become a lot easier.
10-7.
10-7
Crazy.
and 10-7s is
You
crazy.
can't come back.
You can't. You can't unless you get a 10-8
Yeah.
yourself.
You got to go back.
So you could come out and almost finish somebody
Get a
and
10.
not and get a 10-7
Yeah.
and then they beat you.
The next 2 rounds.
Maybe not beat the living crap out of you, but beat you for the next 2 rounds. Or even, for the last quarter of that first round
Yeah.
and and they still win.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
I mean, granted, you
Recently, we've been seeing a lot more 10-8s.
yes.
A lot more 10-8s. But, yeah, 10-7. That's kind of...
Do you think more 10-8s is a good thing?
It all depends. I don't know. It depends on how they're giving them and stuff. Like
Yeah.
some of them, yes. Some rounds are deserving of a 10-8, but just to hand it out, because then just because you have a battle where you get clipped doesn't mean that you can't win the fight. Like you come back in the next 2 rounds and win, and then it's a freaking draw. You know?
Yeah, and that's kind
And
of
I don't know if that's the way it should be, because if you if you win for 10 minutes, you're
Mhm.
winning the fight for 10 minutes. Maybe not as dominant, but you're still winning for 10 minutes. I think you should get the fight. I don't know. Because if you get, a guy gets dropped, a lot of times recently you've seen a guy get dropped in a round and then get, like, beat up a little bit and it's 10-8.
That is tough. What do our listeners think? Let's have some guys writing in. Scott Nicole accused you of being one of our listeners. So he said that we didn't have 7. We only had 6 because you're logged on.
Yeah.
Are you logged on?
I might still be logged on.
Yeah. Thanks for nothing, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Scott.
And we're not going to get into it right now, but
Yeah.
Devin wants to know a little bit more about 208.
About 208. All right.
But before we get off of these fights, I am dying to know what you guys think of that of the
Ezekiel choke.
choke. Should that have happened?
It's sneaky.
It is sneaky, and it.
If you're not looking for it, I mean, it's something that people get, you can get caught in.
We had a couple of the guys, Adlon, used to train with us at AMA, and he was pretty good at it, and he caught
some good guys.
Some
In no-gi?
in no gi.
Yeah.
Because in
Yeah.
gi, I get it, but in no-gi, it's crazy.
And from that position, let him pass them
It's
out.
not something
start
you
wrapping
ever are looking for. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Is like I don't think anyone had done it in the gym prior to that,
Yeah.
or was good enough to do it. Where it was like, so it was just like, it just
Yeah.
doesnh
You
doesn't happen.
You don't respect it
Yeah.
until it's too late.
Till
You
it's-
know,
yeah.
and you're like, oh shit, the lights are going out. But yeah, Adlon used to catch quite a few guys with it.
That's his 7th win, right?
I think it's like his 7th one of those.
Let me see if I can find out.
But yeah, it's
He's got 51 wins. So.
yeah,
He's
it's
been to
quite
the
a few.
dance a couple times.
Yeah. You're gonna.
Oh, you know what? They won't give me.
You're gonna see-
lights on this.
You're gonna see those type of things every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, and chances are you'll probably never see it again.
But he did hit it 7 times.
Yes.
It was more than 5 for sure.
Well, he's had 51 fights or 51 wins rather, and
Yeah.
how many of those fights are in the UFC, and you're kind of hoping, like it's not that it's a hack move. It's just that it's
That's
an
what you're calling it.
basically.
That's what
so's
it, that's
so,
what it
so's
looked
the
like to
Peruvian
me.
necktie, man.
Yeah.
Like Peruvian,
Yes, it
Peruvian
is.
necktie is a hack move.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just a hack move because it doesn't set anything else up. Like if you miss it,
Yeah.
you just flop on your back, and but so I like to call it a hack move. Although I almost got choked out with it in the room once. But yeah, it is one of those moves that's weird, and I guarantee you that the next couple guys that he fights
Yeah.
they're going to respect it,
Yeah.
Well,
and it's like.
maybe Pesta slept on it for too long, but
Yeah.
he didn't fight hands, and I think he had him mounted, so why not go to knee on belly and really posture up? I wasn't in it. I'm sure Alexi would have choked the shit out of me. Probably would have popped my head off. But in my mind, I would have been fighting hands, and I would have tried to get knee on belly and
I
really,
think it
really
was
posture
too.
hard.
I think he started it and he mounted, and then
Yeah,
it was
he
too
was
late.
like, I don't want to get out of this position. I want to hold this position. So
Yeah.
he was staying tight himself, which is
Mhm.
basically just letting him
And
choke
then
him.
The lights go dim.
Yeah.
Derek Southerton is tuning in. Went to high school with him, and he thinks that Dan's choke was better.
Thank you.
And then and Kev chimed in and said, in regards to the
What name is he
10-7,
under? What name is he under right
He
now?
is Kev Honorspren tonight. He said it depends on how they give out the 10-7s. If someone is basically saved by the bell in round 1 and they get a 10-7, then they squeaked out the next 2, then the new system is working.
Yeah, but like I said, if you get
But-
clipped, if somebody gets clipped and dropped, that's one punch that could end the fight. One punch that could, you lost that fight because of one punch. Because you're recovering, and then, so it's 2 minutes of you recovering and you're getting beat up a little bit. And then you go on and to win the fight. Positionally control it, be more aggressive, say you only win, and still lose it because of one punch. I kind of disagree with that.
If you're going to see if you're going to see the 10-7s, like 10-8 is
I could see 10
I'm okay
eights.
with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it because it doesn't
That's
mean
a
yeah,
dominant round.
it doesn't mean the fight. But you almost have to go to open scoring
Yeah.
because it's like that other guy needs to know. I mean,
Yeah. At that point, and you
I
have to finish
I
that fight.
have to finish.
Yeah.
Like there's no other option to win this fight but to finish the guy. But again, we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. It'll be interesting.
So is it they're doing 10-7s to make fighters fight harder?
No, I think they're
The way they're scoring it, the
yeah,
way they're just saying that.
they're just scoring. They're scoring. I guess like
Well, what's the point of it?
close attempts. They're scoring close attempts to ending the fight more than they were, and the point of it is that that's the goal, is to finish the fight. It's not to just squeak by. It's not to just outmaneuver somebody. It's to finish them. So if you go and you pepper somebody up and you knock them down in the first 30 seconds and you almost get to finish, but then they recover and then they take you down. They sit in, top half or something like that for the rest of the round. You still win because you tried to finish the fight. Now, granted, it's like you've got this timed event, and it's about like you kind of have to play to the clock. So it's a little weird that like you could be winning 30 seconds of a round and only 30 seconds and still win it because you won that 30 seconds by more than that guy won 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
See, I agree with that. I think that if you attempt to finish it, but it shouldn't be such a large.
Hmm.
It should be a 10.
So whose
a
idea
10-9.
was this to get them to finish? That's why they want to do 10-7s.
No,
is
they're
'cause
not
they
saying
want
that they
fighters
want to
to
do
finish
10-7s.
fights.
They didn't say they want to do 10-7s. It's just the way that they're scoring it. You're going to see more of
Yeah.
them. That's all they said. They didn't say like we're going to start giving more 10-7s. They just said the way that they're scoring, you probably going to see 10-7s.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot more 10-8s, but you're going to start seeing some 10-7s. A 10-7, you cannot dig yourself out of that hole unless you finish the fight.
Well,
Well,
and
what
you
I'm
know?
getting at is why.
And this is the highest
why
level
did
that
they
we're talking
change the
about.
rules to get the fights to? Because you're saying that the object is to finish the fight.
Yes.
So they want fighters to finish.
Yes.
They don't want people to be point fighters.
Well, exactly.
Is that so? But whose
That's what
decision
they're-
now? The commission made that decision.
The ABC, the
Yeah.
American
Okay,
Boxing.
well then that's the thing. See, that's where the UFC is a bunch of idiots. Why the frig don't they just? Okay, I'll pay you to finish the fight. I'll pay. Now you had a moronic judging in Lozon's fight, so you're still going to have moronic judging. If that's the goal, the UFC ought to just man up and pay people. If you're going to finish a fight, and I see you're trying to finish a fight, well, here I'm going to pay you because you're an exciting fighter and you're
It
going to
doesn't
finish
really
the
have
fight.
anything to do with the UFC. It has
Yeah.
to do with the
The
commissions.
commission. It's
the-
everybody.
Yeah, all the commissions, the states coming together, and coming up with these new rules for MMA because they essentially they adopted boxing rules.
Yeah.
And then they added in because there's wrestling, because they added some control, octagon control or control. So they just essentially just added a few things to boxing. So now because MMA is becoming so big, they're trying to adopt
Their
MMA
their own
its
rule
own
set.
rule set.
Or
So-
own way of judging it.
So now it's but the issue is like you're gonna give. I just can't. A 10-7 is fucking.
Well, it is.
I
It's
think,
stupid.
especially in the
unless
UFC.
Then
The
they
UFC
have
is
to
like-
do like Jim said. You got to have open scoring
Yeah.
because the guy has to know that.
But
I-
so, it's like okay. I mean, we're talking about the freaking highest level fighters. That's like saying in football, oh well, they went for the end zone. They threw a Hail Mary. Well, let's give them 20 points instead of 7 because
Yeah.
they just drove it down the field and they scored. Let's give them because they attempted.
Or he
They
ran
really went
he
for
ran a
it.
kickoff back.
Yeah,
so.
they really went for it. We're going to give them
Yeah.
20 points. Like that doesn't make sense.
Kevin
know?
Kevin wrote in and he brought up 2 points that I think are pretty valid.
Shut up, Kevin.
So the first one is he said we're kind of looking at like a punch in the middle of the round or something at the beginning, but there are rounds where the guy is saved by the bell.
Yes. But
Where
no,
if the round was
we-
30 seconds more, the fight would have been over. And then the
Yes.
other point that Kevin brings up that we are not thinking about is we're talking about 3-rounders. In a 5-rounder, it's a completely different game. And
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. Kev, you're a genius.
But we're talking majority
Well,
of the
then you gotta
fights
make
in
Say
all
the
the
Kevin's a
UFC.
fights
genius.
5 rounds.
No,
we don't
majority
say
of the
Kevin's a
fights.
genius.
we don't get paid for those extra
Yeah.
10 minutes.
No.
The majority of the fights in the UFC are
Or 3-rounders.
3-rounders, and that's where you're getting to the. You're trying to build yourself to that point to get to the 5-rounders. And usually in a fight where it's like they get saved by the bell, and they get mauled for that round, well, it's pretty much they're going to get mauled for the next 2 rounds or finished or something like that. It's not. We're talking about close fights. You're going to have to dig yourself out of a giant hole by, like I said, 1 punch, 2 punches, where it's like,
So
because
then
you're talking about like Frankie. Like if Frankie in his fight against Gray got destroyed with 1 punch and then was all over the place, they gave him a 10-7. Yes, it was a 5-round fight, so it's a different score, but that completely changes the scoring of that fight. Completely changes it. I think he ended up finishing him.
Yeah.
That one, but
No, because it happened in the second fight.
yeah.
That
They
went to a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we'll see how it
Yeah.
pans out. All
I'm
right.
not saying
I'm
that
sure
this
we'll
is
be
how it
talking
is
about
going
this
to be.
again.
and
Yeah.
we'll see
But-
how it pans out.
This is what they said.
So something cool that is happening in. So we're transitioning right now. If you can feel that,
I feel it.
Felt it.
Um,
To something cool, apparently.
just something cool that's happening in South Carolina. I think this weekend. 2-on-2 MMA. I was born for fighting in groups.
Yeah.
Like,
2 on 2.
if they damn binding contract. So, you at one point in this fight, it's going to be
Is it
2 on
like
1.
tag team?
No,
Just
no,
a straight
it's
2 on 2.
yeah, it's straight 2 on 2. It's kind of like that Russian deal or
The
Ukrainian
5 on 5.
5 on 5, which I'm for.
Yeah.
So if you tap, you're out, but your partner's still.
Oh
in.
yeah, your partner's still in. Yeah,
Hmm.
like
That's
in the 5 on 5, it's like sometimes
It's brutal.
it's
man.
it's pretty ridiculous because it's like soccer kicks and stuff like that, and you got one guy with 3 dudes on him. And it's not in a hotel room in Indianapolis.
Classless.
But yeah, no, I don't know. That'd be fun as hell. Because I think it's in a.
Unless you're the one guy with 3 guys on you.
Oh, it depends on your perspective, Dad.
We'll have to ask Pat how that was.
Yeah, gross.
From my perspective, it was glorious.
Can somebody
It's-
give me a beer?
It's
I've been asking for like
yeah.
15 minutes.
Hot Mike, you are such a dick. Stop it. We're going we're putting out an audio version of this. Be polite to the people that are listening in their cars.
The
I believe it's
winter
in.
warmer.
I believe it's in.
Or no, sorry, the global
guys-
warmer.
You're terrible.
Sorry.
I believe it's in.
It's
Like
Krog's Java Head Stout. It's really
whatever the hell
good.
you call it.
Obstacle course?
Yeah, like with all like the foam.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff like that.
That one was cool. The
Yeah.
5 on 5 and the obstacle course
Yeah.
was fucking bad.
Like guys are getting like rolled off of these things.
yeah, he's not paying
Yeah. He can't hear snaps. But yeah,
the wrong frequency.
doesn't matter, Dad. Just
Get a beer.
we're trying to talk. People don't want to hear beer selections. They want to.
I think some of our listeners might be
What's in
might
the
be
Miller
interested
fridge?
in the beer selection.
Some of Jim's Chipotle sauce. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those like obstacle course things, which is pretty baller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I would
God.
imagine if there was a brother requirement, you guys would be
All
you guys
over
would be
that
tough to
stuff.
beat.
Yeah, if it was 3 on 3, you're gonna have to become a Miller.
Me? We better make Shorty a Miller or something.
Yeah, that's true.
There's much better choices out there.
Michael would wear his jeans and blow them out.
Yeah.
It's like Mike, don't wear the jeans.
Yeah,
No, I'm gonna wear 'em.
I recommend, Mike, you don't wear the jeans. I need to go puke. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think it's gonna be on Flow. They're showing it.
Nice.
Yeah. So speaking of Flow,
Stole your Easton hat.
freaking Dwayne Finley, Bo Cephas, old Bo. You pop onto that camera.
We're on it.
You pop onto that camera. He comes into the
Yeah.
into our hotel room.
Yeah.
Comes onto our
And not
podcast.
only comes into our hotel room, completely, he comes in, the night before, right?
and
It's
then
like, yeah, we're going to
ditches us.
podcast, and then completely ditch us. Doesn't answer my phone calls.
Doesn't even answer the phone to have the
Nothing.
decency to say
Yeah.
he's ditching us.
Yep, we
Exactly.
sneak him into a private party.
Yeah. Free booze and fucking guy.
And yeah, he comes in and he steals my hat. He steals my Easton hat.
He did leave you a float.
He did leave me a flow track hat that fits my 3-year-old. Dwayne's got a small head. Oh man, he's got a tiny head. I took a picture and I sent it to him. It like rests on the top of my head.
Oh, I'm sorry. The bus is still off, and he didn't even notice. You're back on. You're back on.
What do you mean all of my hats? What does that mean?
Well, your hat's sitting on the top of your head.
Those Easton hats are actually pretty big.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
big.
they're
big,
big
It
hats.
fits me
yeah.
good because
Uh,
it's actually gigantic.
It stuffs my giant ears out even further. A stiff wind could pick me up off the ground.
So yeah, I tracked him around on Facebook today, and I I haunted him about stealing my hat. Because then he took a picture with my opponent
Yeah.
in the hat that he stole from me.
That's a
Like,
slap in the
That
face.
is a slap in the face, Dwayne. Like, you know what? Dan is a nibbler. I am a biter. If you bruise from that nibble,
I would say, though, in Dan's defense, that if you do get attacked by two guys at once, and I was going as hard as I could because I really wanted to choke Dan, I would have bit somebody in that scenario, and I don't fault you for it.
When we were younger,
applaud
that
you
was
for
like
it.
the best advice I get. Our dad told me if you're going to bite them, bite their nose. But his nose wasn't there. His arm was there.
Yeah.
So I bit him.
He's pretty lucky it was only his arm.
Yeah,
there, if that's
yeah.
the
I would have
case.
bit anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
was in here.
Dwayne, stay away from north-south. Anything.
There were two guys attacking me. So
but well, I mean that's kind of you were in dominant position at that point though. That was on the ground, right?
no,
No.
it was on the bed.
He was on the-
Yeah, he was on my back, and
Okay.
I had rolled
Yeah,
onto
okay.
Dwayne. and
He was
put his
whooping,
arm
now
around
he
that's-
was whooping
now-
Dwayne, and I jumped
Now
on
that's
his back.
that's illegal by
Yeah.
the Miller Brothers couch
Yeah.
wrestling rules. You're only allowed to bite
Yeah.
when you have control, and it's just to
Just to let
bite
him
the
know.
person.
Ah, that's interesting.
It's not to get out of a move. You can't bite to get out of a move.
No.
That's cheating. But you could bite somebody.
Yeah.
Like when I had you in cross-eyed out in the field in the parking lot in high
When you
school,
were in high school, yeah.
You bit him.
and I bit you.
You did. I would say, though, you got bit back.
You bit
For
me back.
real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you were using it to escape.
Yep.
Which
He
is
doesn't
cheating.
play by the rules.
Which is cheating.
No, I'm not a Miller. I don't have to abide by your
Yeah.
stupid rules.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that I have bit Jim harder than I've bit any other human in the world. And that was driven by anger and the fact that you took
Embarrassment.
my snap pants off in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
That sucked. That sucked a lot.
Yeah, I was a little dickhead. I don't think I ever grew out of it.
No,
No.
you're still a dickhead.
Yeah, I know.
We actually, at my house, have had discussions with my wife, who is pretty nice, and she said that you're the biggest asshole that we are friends with. And I got to agree with her.
I'm really offended by that.
You
It's
shouldn't
true.
I'm offended.
Yeah, come on.
You're
What do you mean?
offended by the truth.
No.
Really?
You
No.
are the
How am I
biggest
the- are you-
asshole
hey,
that I am still friends
Jim
with.
Jim has a really red beard. Are you offended by that? Because
Nope.
it's the truth.
Zebra's got stripes.
Come on.
I'm the biggest
Pat
asshole
has
that you know.
giant ears.
No, no, no. 'Cause
Well,
I
he
know
is
bigger
not.
assholes, but I'm not friends with
He
them.
is not.
You're the biggest asshole that I would still be friends with. You're right on that line.
It's like,
The razor's edge. You're dancing on it.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about. Live dangerously.
You do know a bigger asshole than him.
well, we know bigger assholes. Just not.
Just not
Don't
friends.
associate with
All
them.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
We wouldn't share a hotel bed with
I'll
them.
give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Sleep next to him and wake up cuddled in their arms. That's something we would not do with a bigger asshole. Speaking of assholes, is Chael Sonnen an asshole for bringing in Tito's ex-wife?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Totally.
In
I
my
totally
in my
agree.
opinion, he is. You know, obviously, it's like
It was funny, but
I
he's
thought it was
still
funny.
an
I didn't
asshole.
say
was
that he wasn't
hysterical.
an
It was-
asshole. I said
it's
he
a
was,
chip shot.
It was funny.
That's a layup.
The only thing I think that makes it a little bit different, he didn't make fun of his ex-wife, who is not a famous person or who is not a porn star, right? Does that
Yeah,
like
but that
she's
doesn't make it
she's a
free
celebrity?
game.
It's
So what?
still.
That still doesn't make you.
Still.
No,
I agree. I'm just
That
giving
still doesn't
the
make
other
her-
the
It
other
doesn't.
side. Of
Yeah,
it.
you don't.
you can't.
Come on,
you
man.
can't attack her.
I would agree 100%.
So I mean,
Like,
and that's the thing.
if you're being-
Chael ought to be a man when she comes up and she goes to the fight and bitch slaps his ass. He better be polite about it
He better be, yeah.
Because
because she deserves to. I mean,
She
she
does.
ought to be able to.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he
listen,
just
she is a
Money
porn
with her
star.
mouth. Come on.
I mean, again, it was not. It was an easy dig. But like
that was
if you're
funny. But the jackal when he's like, "Tell me a story about a jackal again."
Yeah,
That was
hysterical.
funny.
That was hysterical.
But
he is good, but you don't. You don't.
no,
bring in,
I agree.
You don't.
I agree.
That was not like a.
Because at that point, what
But
stops?
it was funny.
What stops?
I was laughing.
What
I was
stops
laughing.
somebody from taking it a step further? You know, because apparently I am an asshole.
You are.
Yeah. Only to us though.
Well, not necessarily, but mostly to you.
Yeah.
You know, like what? Then what stops somebody from saying something about
Your
Chael's family?
mother's a whore.
You know.
Well, she is. So.
No, I agree with you. I don't think it's
Like you want to say something about
acceptable.
camps or training partners or all that crap, coaches, whatever. They're part of it. To, you know, I don't know, whatever. But again, it was an easy.
Yeah, it was easy, but it was funny.
Who
They
wins
were
that
getting-
fight?
Chael.
What do you think,
Tito.
Dan?
He's motivated.
Since Dan actually
See-
fought Chael, what do you think?
Yeah. On paper, I think Chael wins that. I don't know. I just think Chael's going to win it. I think he's a better version. They're pretty much the same fighter. They're wrestlers with dominant ground game. I think Chael's a better version of that.
Does Chael win the drug test?
I don't know who wins the drug test.
Do you win drug test by passing or failing?
2 winners. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. What-
Actually,
I like it.
so Kev just wrote in that Jen was cool about it per her Twitter. To everyone thinking Chael Sonnen's remark, somebody else just bounced it down. To everyone thinking that Chael Sonnen's remark at the press conference for his fight with Tito bothered me, it didn't. He stated the obvious. She owned it.
She did. But again, my point is the line. It's like,
I agree with you.
I mean, she's in that gray area because it is perfectly true and and all that stuff. But enough about that.
Yeah, but it's not the first time
Yeah,
somebody's
no,
brought up
no.
their girlfriend, wife, ex-wife. So it was funny.
Hey, Christina Davies is wishing you good luck in your fight, and she wants to know how you're doing with the Lyme.
I'm doing all right. Doing another course of antibiotics right now. So I had a little slump, but the best part about it is knowing the feeling now and knowing what it, that when I feel like shit, it's because of Lyme disease, and then I can go and take doxycycline, which destroys my insides. But it's I'm doing good. So training's going well, and getting ready for the February 11th.
That's coming soon.
Yeah. We're gonna podcast like we did for the fight in November. We're gonna podcast the night of weigh-ins, so then the night before the fights. This time from Brooklyn, obviously. But yeah, that'll be a good time.
Yeah.
I'm really
see if Dad
hoping
can get confused as Hulk Hogan again.
That'd be nice.
No, because there won't be any drunk Irishmen there. Well, there might be.
Well,
Pat'll
I'm
be
still
there.
going, right?
Yeah.
Pat'll be there, and he'll be like, "It's fucking Hulk Hogan."
Hulk Hogan. And I think that guy was English for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the weigh-in is a little bit less eventful this time.
Yeah.
Boye's going up. He's made 145,
Yeah.
so he shouldn't have an issue making 55s.
I don't think
One would hope.
yeah. Well, he hasn't missed yet. I don't think so. There's no reason to think that he would.
Sure, he would. He knows he can get away with it with Jim Miller.
Yeah. Okay.
Jim fucking Miller.
But yeah, so ready to go. Couple more weeks.
So you the video you put out hitting pads with armor.
Yes.
And I liked it. I actually
enjoyed
get pumped up by the boxer, as
boxer,
well.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you on that.
It sucks because it got bumped from Facebook.
Oh, because of
Because
the song.
yeah,
Simon and Garfunkel would support that
they
video.
would.
I think.
They better. But yeah, you know, it sucks because like I tried to use the good microphone, and of course the gain on the camera was turned up, so then it sounded like fucking garbage. So then I was like, I need to put something over top of it. I'm like scrolling through, it's like, all right, well, might as well go with some Simon and Garfunkel wearing a skirt.
I like the skirt's easier to kick in.
Yeah.
Looks good.
It is. It's very flowy. There's no restrictions. I like it. I like the skirt.
And how's it going working with Amr?
It's going really good. You know, the biggest pain in the ass working with Amr is that I'm punching up, so it destroys my shoulders. But we gave you a little teaser at the end of that video of some secret training techniques of where I hit the bag with him sitting on my shoulders.
And what's Amr? He said he's 230. I bet he's bigger
He's
than
all
that.
bit of 240.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. Every bit of it. No, he keeps bouncing around. He's like, yeah, I'm losing some weight. No, I'm getting back up. Oh, I'm losing some weight. Oh, I'm back up. But yeah, no, it's good. He's I feel good. I've been hitting pads with him, you know, like a couple times a week, 4 times a week, and feeling sharp. So
He loves leg kicks.
he does.
He kicks the pads so hard that if I said to him, and I think I said this on the last podcast because it blows my mind, that even if I got my hand up, he would break my arm. You just couldn't let him set it up.
No, you got to stuff him.
Yeah, you cannot. You can't let that come in.
Yeah,
And tree
I
getting
might
hurled at your head.
I might be an asshole. All right, so.
Don't say might be. You can tell a story, but say I am an
All right,
asshole.
I'm an
Own it.
asshole.
You got to admit it.
I'm an asshole. So I came in the other night into the class and you know hit pads a little bit, and then we were moving around. So you know tie sparring. So you're going lighter, and he was standing lefty for me, and I blasted him right in the back of the knee. Just caught him perfect with a leg kick. And then I pretty much knocked out one of our students. So, it was bad.
Going hard.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm not.
Just people get knocked out going
Yeah,
light
they
all
just
the
go-
time.
You
That's
know-
something that happens.
When people have control, that's what happens.
That is what happens. Yeah.
So the cool part of the gym is that if you come in, you might get the chance to spar with a real UFC fighter. The shitty
will
part is
probably
that
knock you
he
out.
might knock
Might
you
knock
out.
you out. I didn't, you know, it was like more of a rock.
Oh, that makes it better.
Yeah.
I just rocked him.
Yeah, just rock.
No big deal.
He took it well. He was doing good, too.
So he was doing
Yeah,
good.
he
So
was
you
doing
just
good.
tried to. You had to put him down.
I didn't-
Knock down.
No. I've been hitting pads so much that, you know, it's like
You
Bruce Lee.
envisioned him as a
It's like
pad,
it's like
and you
Bruce
punched
Lee.
him
When the
as hard as you could.
opportunity strikes, when the opportunity to strike arises, I don't. It does it by itself.
Kev wants to know if it was a kid or an adult. He was 14,
It
so you make the call.
Yeah, right on that edge. You know? Young adult.
When we were first finishing the gym and we had the wrestling mats in here, we were sparring, and you did that stupid fucking chop sweep, and I just remember being like, I was on my feet and I was doing good, and then I was weightless, and I was like, this is
Yeah.
weird, and then I just fucking crumbled the mat. and
That
I
was an
heard,
asshole.
because you're an asshole.
Yep. Yeah. Well. All right. I'm starting to.
The facts have been
Yeah.
produced, and
I've seen enough. So last week, we were fortunately able to get away from this crazy old
Old man.
bastard, and we got out to Indianapolis. For
say it
the
again.
for
I
the
missed it.
ATAs.
I wanted to stop by the house when
Yeah.
we got back.
We
you,
told him some
dude.
of the stories that happened, and he was kind of mad.
Yeah.
He wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
No, really.
He would have had to sleep in a bed with you.
No thanks. I didn't want
Wouldn't
anything
be
in
the
my
first
eye.
time.
He's
Wouldn't be
double
the first
glasses.
time.
Yeah.
Him and I shared a bed out in your first fight. That was England. That was the worst sleep ever.
Yeah.
Not because I was sleeping on his in the bed with him. It was a horrible bed, and the fucking time change killed me
Yeah.
for like 3 days.
Yeah. And then you flew back,
back
and
and
fought
fought
the
a
following
week
weekend. That was pretty loud.
Not without the microphones, I don't think.
You know what? There are a lot of really, really big dudes in the archery
Not just
industry.
big,
like
gigantically
Yeah.
large men
Like-
in the archery
yeah,
industry.
not li- and not like
professional archers. These were guys that shoot, shoot on the world team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shoot competitions. And gigantic men.
It was
Dud was what? Dud's what? 6'5",
something like that. Yeah.
6'6".
Has the ability
There-
to kick the top of a door
He
down.
does, yeah. He's fucking front kick like 8.5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a few guys that made him look tiny.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
I wish I could remember the guy's name, but that guy with the ponytail, I shook his hand and it
Yeah,
was
it
like
was
a baseball mitt.
Something.
Giant
Greg
man.
Poole. I think it was,
Yeah.
something like that.
It looked like Shorty standing next to Dan, and Dan was Shorty standing next to him.
Yeah.
In that analogy that I did not explain very well.
Yeah. No.
Use your imagination.
Yeah. Very good, Pat. Yeah. No. A lot of big dudes. But yeah, we had a really cool time. We went out and freaked out Greg a little bit
Yeah.
from A&W.
Which was fun.
Stan was right at home
Yeah.
because he's a wacko just like us. Hung around Dudley. We went on his podcast.
That
which
he has hidden.
he might have.
now.
It's probably
I-
like it's
I
an
don't know
Easter
if it
egg
was
on his site.
intentional, but
His wife was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
We totally we just
Degraded.
Degraded.
His
It's like this-
podcast.
here's this.
but he agreed to come on ours, and what I'm
Yeah.
hoping is that he elevates,
elevates
ours.
us, he
He's
brings
gonna
our
bring
level
his
Yeah, it's going to
knowledge.
be just
Listen,
the same
for
thing.
for how much we dropped him down. If he didn't, this would be like
It'd be
you'd
a
be sitting
high-class
you'd be
podcast,
sitting in
yeah.
at NASA. Like, that's how low we brought him.
I've been listening to Dudley's podcasts every
Mhm.
day because I spend a lot of time in the car, and they're actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we threw Dan and I shot a little bit. We threw a picture up on the Hands-On podcast, and as it turns out, everything I've been doing in archery is completely wrong. And if you want
You've had a good
to
coach.
shoot better, he's
was
he's a man to
coaching
listen
him.
to.
What's that?
Were you saying I was coaching him?
No.
Okay, good, because I was not coaching him.
Yeah.
No, nobody's coaching me. I was just shooting.
Just shooting.
The amount of preparation he does and
Mhm.
like his pointers that guy is phenomenal.
Yeah. So yeah. So what the hell did we even do? We went out, met some cool people.
Yeah, met a lot of cool people. Just hung out with Stan and Greg,
Mhm.
at their booth a little bit.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And
Had a meeting or two.
yeah.
Found out that there's this parallel between the way that MMA used to be, like in 2010, and the way that like the outdoor industry is. In sponsorship type stuff and all
Yeah.
that stuff. It's there's definitely similarities. But yeah, met a lot of cool people. So
There's a lot there, man.
yeah,
A lot.
saw the Yeti, freaking or the Bigfoot.
The Reinhardt.
Yeah,
Bigfoot,
we
yeah.
almost wanted to steal it.
I wanted to
8
see
foot,
it. I loved
yeah,
it.
8 foot tall, probably like 700 pound, Bigfoot archery target. It's pretty cool. We'll have to get one for the corner.
Yeah.
Probably like a couple grand.
I don't know about you guys, but like being there and seeing everything, I just came home like so excited to dive into it. I was really pumped up about bow fishing.
Mhm.
I want to dive into bow fishing, and I've shot my bow every single day since we've been home. And I've listened to at least 3 podcasts with Dudley's. I feel like Dudley and I are best friends. And he doesn't know it, but he's been talking to me every day.
I thought it was Cameron Haynes.
I did get to meet Cameron
Yeah.
Haynes,
Yeah.
and it
Your
was
eyes
awesome.
bug
In
out
his
of your head.
glory. Pat in his
Yeah.
glory.
Oh my
God.
You know,
my God.
you know what though? I'll say this about Cameron Haynes. We were at the Yeti Coolers party,
Mm-hmm.
and Cam came in, and he's kind of a celebrity, and we bullshitted for like a half hour.
Yeah.
He wasn't there to see me. He wasn't like, and we talked about running, and he was just a super cool guy. It was like talking to one of your buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And Cameron, if you're listening, you must send me your phone number and talk again.
An old pair of sneakers and
Yeah.
sniff them.
No, that was a cool guy who just
No, yeah.
liked hanging out.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah, it's
One of the really cool things that he said to me before he signed my chest. He was saying for those of the people that don't know, he's run some monster races over 200 miles,
Yeah.
point to point.
Bigfoot 200.
The Bigfoot 200, which is I think he said it was like 207.4.
Yeah.
You should get credit for all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what he was saying, I was like, man, it's crazy. He's like they did a study, and most humans quit at 40% of their capacity. And it's just kind of like been in my head. I ran a couple times. I was hitting pads with Amr today, and I was like, "You're at 40%. You gotta keep hammering." Thank you, Cameron.
He's getting weird now.
Yeah,
It's super
yeah.
weird. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's inspirational, Dan.
He's like at home with Megan, and he's like,
Yeah. It's like,
thinking
keep
of you,
hammering.
Cameron.
Yeah.
I'm at 40%. Yeah.
Only 40%.
Keep it going.
Do not give up. Do not give in.
Whatever. You guys are both assholes.
I don't even know. There was something I was going to say before
I don't know.
Pat, broke in.
We were
his
talking about
man crush.
Dudley and that he's like a super archery genius. He's tightened my group up from his podcast.
From his podcast.
Yeah, we met some awesome people, and hanging out with Dudley and walking around with him was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
The mayor of ATA.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stop here for. I'm just gonna talk to this guy. Like hour later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 18 people walk up. Like,
Yeah.
hey. And it was everybody.
Yeah, brought us around a bunch of the booths. Met Mac McPherson.
Yeah.
Of Matthews.
Huge Jim Miller fan.
Yeah, huge MMA fan. Really cool guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they did guitars in the next. Like he said, the factories
Yeah.
are kind of touching, and the next factory does Martin Guitars,
No,
which is
McPherson.
McPherson Guitars, not
Yeah.
Martin Guitars. Devils in the details.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, another guy that has fucking Lyme disease.
Yep.
Fucking ticks. Burn them all to the ground.
Yeah.
Did you hook up because he had some?
Yeah, he sent me
Alternate
he actually
ways.
sent me some information on one of the doctors that he's worked with, and did a little research and stuff. So
So that's pretty
But yeah.
cool, right? Like the owner of a giant company like that
yeah,
cared enough to send you
yeah,
the information. That's awesome.
yeah, it's really cool.
At the risk of getting weird again.
Yeah, at the risk of getting weird again, it's
Let's
like
stay weird.
yeah, like we went and we were kind of like puppy dogging behind Dudley, and here's these 3 guys and his assistant following him around the ATA floor, and he brought us over to meet Matt, and because he knew that Matt was an MMA fan, and I don't know, we probably talked for like
We were there for 45 minutes,
yeah,
an hour.
45 minutes or so, and he's like most people don't get 5 minutes of Matt's time, so it's cool to just to bullshit, to talk about MMA and archery and kind of pretty much everything.
What's better than MMA and archery, though? Honestly,
Not too many things.
that's at the
Not too
top.
many things. We're gonna combine them. We're going to combine. That's what we're going to do. We're going to combine MMA and archery. We're going to take that bow tag thing that's going around now, which that I want to do too.
Yeah, that does sound like fun.
And then we're going to fight in the middle of it. In groups. Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe Stan and Greg, if you guys are listening, maybe our next lights out shootout could really somebody could get their lights put out.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it was cool to get it to get out there. I'm good.
We saw some pretty cool new products, right?
Yeah.
So the new lighted Nox, is that Nocturnals? Those ones that they had a couple different flashing colors.
Yeah, I think the
cool.
Nocturnals, they go red and green or something like that, and it's like a strobe.
Yeah, it's super bright.
Yeah. So I guess it increases the time the battery works and all that stuff.
Some of those blinds too. Dan and I were talking when we were shooting today that we gotta either make a bail blind or get a bail blind.
Yeah,
because that's the way we're gonna hunt from now on.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, So you could spend a lot of money.
There's a lot of new products and stuff like that. But I thought walking like the innovator section where Stan and Greg was pretty cool.
It was cool.
There's a bunch of like new products by just guys starting because they like they like archery.
Mm-hmm.
Not big companies, and it was pretty cool just to walk that and talk to some of the guys.
Yeah. Cool opportunity to meet the guys from Mountain Ops as well.
Yeah.
Went over and introduced ourselves. And
now you've been taking Mountain Ops supplements for this fight, and you've been pretty pumped with them.
Yeah. Like I have a sensitive stomach, so only a couple different brands have been agreeing with me, and their stuff does, and it's pretty good. The one that I actually like a lot is the meal replacement stuff, the ammo. It sits heavier, and that's kind of the idea of it. So it makes it a little bit easier to not be an idiot and eat all day.
Yeah.
So
what's wrong with that?
Well, I'm trying to lose weight.
Day?
I'm trying to lose weight. And we're going in separate directions. So.
I still view myself as a small guy. That's all that counts.
Yeah.
Frank and I were talking. I'm like, Frank, we're like the same size. He's like, no.
No, we're not dead.
He's like, how much you weigh? I'm like 235. He's like, you got like 60 pounds on you. Like, Frank, there's no way I have 60 pounds on you. We're like the same size.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit bigger than Jim, just taller than him. That's all.
A little bit bigger. It's all in the torso.
Yeah. Same inseam.
Dan and I wear the same inseam pant.
I don't know why I've always had that. I've always
well,
felt
I'm like a smaller, like cut up version, muscular, athletic version. Version of like his body. So it's like the Big Bird over there. So it's like you take Big Bird, but with the ability to put on muscle mass, have a six pack,
actually move,
be strong, be strong for my size.
Yeah.
These guys couldn't wipe the sweat from my balls.
He's been waiting.
Yeah.
20 podcasts to say that.
Yeah.
20 fucking podcasts.
Nailed it.
Yeah, he nailed it. It's perfect timing. It's one thing he's got. He does have good timing.
Yeah, he does. Because he sits on these things.
He does sit on
He's the Conor McGregor of our.
He'll say it now. He'll say that.
No.
He's gonna say it.
No.
He's gonna say it 18 more times tonight.
I'm not a little Mick.
It's
I'm
like-
a big Mick.
He's like, yeah. He paid that writer.
Yeah.
He's gonna make the most of it. So out at the ATAs, we also met Gus Kangemi of Live the Wildlife TV. He's gonna be coming down, and he'll be on the podcast probably later in February
February,
or something
yeah,
like
so-
that, maybe March. I think he said he's got like 7 seasons or something like that. He's on Pursuit.
Yeah.
He's from like New York, like Middletown, New York. So
Yeah,
he's less than an hour away from
Yeah.
us. He's got tons of stories about hunting and stuff like that. I guess in the last year he spent like 40-something days in Alaska. Has massive, like I think he said world record brown bear archery from like 5 yards.
Yeah, so it was 8 yards. I
Yeah.
think. It's ridiculous.
That's like if you stop and think about that, 8 yards,
8 yards
on a brown bear that was that big.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
He agreed to come on the podcast, and
That's all
I'm
he's gonna do is
damn
raise-
sure
yeah,
asking him
tell-
about that.
Yeah.
Tell stories.
So he's going to come down and then in springtime we're going to find a spot around here to hunt some turkeys, and we're gonna go on a show and if we could shoot anything.
We're not make the show.
Yeah, well, we'll make the show. It's just gonna get a lot of B-roll. The Miller's drinking beer in a turkey blind. So yeah, it's another cool contact we made out there, and he actually.
Really cool dude.
Yeah, real cool dude. He's one of the guys, one of the cameramen, who's
Yeah.
kind of a another one of those guys that's been in the industry for a long time, and it has fascinating stories.
Yeah.
Is Chris Douglas?
Yeah.
He's a cameraman.
Funny dude.
He came down or came up here when we shot our pilot, and yeah, he's just got some cool stories, and Gus and Chris have been friends for a long time, and Chris filmed for him, so kind of set us up with that contact, and
Yeah.
hopefully we kill some turkeys, and I don't know. That's one of those things that I'm just like, I got my first one 2 years ago, and I'm kind of sick for it, man. Like, I don't know. You never turkey hunted, or you never brought us turkey hunting. So it was like one of those things.
Turkeys around here.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm saying like it was one of those things. It's like, maybe I'll go turkey hunting, give it a shot. Was never really into it,
Well, watching on TV and doing it.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
completely different things, or even listening about it. Like, we went turkey hunting. It was like, I was watching it. It was like, how
Yeah.
exciting can this be? And then we went. It was like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
And the turkey didn't even come in.
yeah.
But it was still an awesome
Because
experience.
you were moving too much.
Jim and I were stuffed
Yeah.
in a one-person blind,
Yeah.
stuffed in one person with a camera. Listen, I'm a big guy.
But you think
Yeah,
yourself
but
a
I'm a
little
thing,
guy.
a small guy.
Small guy.
So I was trying to move. I was like, yeah, I could fit in there and move, no problem. Apparently, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I could not move. I couldn't get my gun out
We were
without putting it outside the blind.
we were making too much noise, even inside the blind, moving too much, and we got spotted. But it was intense, and I don't know. It's like I said, it was not like we were, even though we had to do it ourselves to get the ball rolling, but we had guidance in deer hunting. We had guidance. As messed up as it was in pheasant hunting, so there wasn't that like push towards turkeys, or that like, hey, this is how you do it. Well, once we gave it a shot, it was like pretty cool. So I'm jazzed for it.
With a bow would be
Yeah,
pretty badass.
that's my plan. So yes, we got that coming up.
You got a pretty cool hunt coming
Yeah.
up with Dudley, right?
Yeah. So the way that I look at it, because you get two different reactions from people.
One from
People
your
close
fight
to me.
camp.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
So I'm going on a hog hunt like basically right before this fight. Big opportunity.
Yeah.
Going to Oklahoma with Dud and a couple other people are going to be out there. We're going to do spot and stalk hog hunt. I look at it as like a decompression. I've been to the point where I've had
start getting more compressed. Then get your fucking.
Yeah. I've been to the point where I've pulled back. I've completely throttled back before fights because of illness or injury. So it's I'm still going to be able to go out there and work out
to get those days off.
Well, tell Dud you're carrying all the hogs.
Well, that's exactly what I said. It's I'm gonna shoot them all, and I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna do some lunges back to camp with a couple
so
600.
Still working the lungs.
600 pounders on my back.
As long as you're working the lungs,
Dan won't be there.
I know. That's why I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna see him.
So this is
It's
a pretty
gonna be
cool.
6, not 8s.
This is a pretty cool hunt because you're doing spot and stalk.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah.
This is not high fence. Nobody's bringing them out on a leash.
No,
What do you mean?
What are you implying?
What are you
There
implying?
was.
Yeah, I would
I
like to
laid it up
imply.
and
What
you
do you-
slammed it on me. That was teamwork by me and the boss. I didn't say
What do you
anything.
imply?
I just, yeah.
Listen, they weren't.
You son of a bitch.
Wow.
Just so proud of you for really graduating.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Pat.
Who's the assholes?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, apparently we
Who's
are
the
not.
assholes?
I'm just trying to fit
I
in.
got to clear the air. We didn't shoot any pigs on leashes.
No.
No, they were
No,
off the
not
leash for
leashes.
at least 30
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
No. They hadn't seen a leash in
A week or two.
Yeah. We just have to call their name.
Yeah. Rosebud.
Really?
Rosebud.
Come here, piggy. Sweet.
There go all our listeners.
I never
Thanks
said
a
it was a
lot.
trophy. We
Yeah,
ate.
I know.
We
No,
ate
we
some
cooked
of them.
that. We cooked it.
Yeah.
It was
Cooked it up for
delicious.
the
the
barbecue.
It was really good.
So-
I'm not complaining
Yeah, it
about
was
What's
not
this
that.
a
wee
trophy.
shit? You got a turd in your pocket?
What's that?
What's this wee shit? You got a
Fuck
turd
Were
in
you-
your pocket?
Fuck you. I was here.
Were you
at
here all
3
night?
3 in the morning.
What's
Were you
that?
here all night?
No, he wasn't.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
Fucking turd
That's
in your
right.
pocket.
That's
Get the
right.
Fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's a
Oh.
lot of foul language getting
Oh,
thrown
yeah.
at the turd in the pocket.
I
down
came back and Clammy was dead.
No,
Nah,
he
I
wasn't.
I was here. One was
Everyone
sleeping on
knows-
the couch. The other one was sleeping on the mat.
Everyone
It was
knows
like,
that
holy
125
shit.
degrees is the way to smoke a pig.
Yeah.
It needs that rest period.
That's
Dad,
right. Yeah.
Before you build it back up.
Low and
It's supposed
slow.
to be like a roller coaster.
It went home for 2 hours. You come back and
2
it's
hours.
dead.
Get the
2 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, one of our listeners wants to know what spot and stalk is.
Spot and stalk is pretty much just
You
find,
spot the
finding
guy
them.
that's carrying or holding the pig on a leash.
Oh, come on, stop.
Yeah, stop it, Dad. So
Jesus.
we're gonna be moving around, trying to find the pigs, and we're gonna be hunting with bows. So then once we find them, then it's a matter of putting a stalk on and getting within bow range, which for me is like about $120 on a pig,
Yeah.
on a pig.
So wherever you hit him, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it's basically just going around from, area to area, field to field type thing, and trying to find them, and then working your way in, as opposed to just sitting on stand, and sitting over a feeder, or sitting on the sidewalk that they walk on.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a pure, beautiful way to hunt.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how
it's
it's meant to be. I think.
It's
Not
a lot
that there's
more
any
interesting.
wrong hunting. Yeah, it's
Even
exciting.
if you don't, yeah. The way
If you
that-
obviously if you're finding them, if you're spotting
it
them.
doesn't. To me, I'd rather be walking and not seeing anything than sitting on a stand and not seeing anything. Moving
Well,
around
yeah.
and trying to find them is anyway is the way that I would prefer to hunt.
There's also that point of being successful too.
Yeah.
And certain types of game, certain areas, it is better to sit.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why. That's only why. The only reason why I haven't been successful is because I try to move around this season.
And mountain bikers.
And mountain bikers.
Every podcast.
Every podcast. They get. You know, I'm going to tell a story. My buddy Steve, my old neighbor, he was very, very mad at me.
I saw him today, and I mentioned it, and he flipped out. He said, "At least Jim told you."
Yeah.
Oh, he told me.
That son of a bitch. So we went out the other day. We went down to our friend's house, about an hour south, and it is like, you know, up here in northwestern New Jersey, we have a pretty dense deer population in the communities. But then, like, it's not quite as dense, like in the woods and stuff. Down there, Hunterdon County area, it's like,
they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're absolutely everywhere. So it's kind of farm country, and we're hunting this piece of property, and he's like, I love Steve, but he's a spaz. He's trying to tell me where to go on stand, and I didn't fully understand him. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, it was still shotgun, you know, still shotgun season down there, and you know, permit shotgun. So I had both barrels for my Mossberg, and I was like, I'll go with the slugs because it's 180 acres. These two pieces of property that we were allowed to hunt combined, and big field, you know, cornfields and stuff like that. So. I'm like, I'm probably going to get some decent shots, and we were basically just pushing this little area trying to bump them out. So I expected the deer to come out at, you know, trotting and kind of relax a little bit maybe, because it was a you know, long ways where they were going to pop out, and they popped out exactly where Steve told me they would pop out. And I was like, all right, so I don't want to be too close because I kind of want them to relax. So I was kind of sitting in this little tiny patch of, like, a little bit taller, you know, the cut corn. And he texted me that he was going in. Not 30 seconds later, like 20 deer at least just come steaming out of this backwoods. And they never slowed down, and I'm sitting there. I'm looking, waiting to see the tail end, to see if there's a buck at the back. Waiting, and I got to admit, I got a little flustered, and I missed. I vic'd one and I missed, and I should have. I was using the slug gun. I should have. If I was closer and I had the buckshot, you know, this was a drive, so it's kind of like, all right, we're trying to just get meat in the freezer and you know, and do it that way. But yeah, he was mad at me. Where the fuck were you? I was like, I didn't want to be, like, on top of the fence line, because if I was on top of the fence line, they're just going to bounce around. And, yeah. So those were the only deer we saw that day. And, I got yelled at. I'll get him next time, Steve. I promise.
The beef and I are going out tomorrow, and we are going to bring home some venison.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. I feel really good about the spot we're going.
Yeah.
One of the coaches I wrestle with, he lives right by your old house on whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
What's the
You
name
need to
of
say
that road?
Rogers
You
Lane.
can't- Rogers Lane.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't
I
live there
guess,
anymore.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
whatever.
whatever. So it backs up to the area that we
have
hunt.
that crazy protester lady there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It ba-
Facebook protester.
It
Come
backs
get it.
up to the area that we hunt, and what I believe is that the mountain bikers have pushed all the deer out of the main hunting area. So when we go in through Frank's backyard, that's where they're going to be pushed through.
Mhm.
Dan and I probably get like
6 each.
At least.
easily, yeah. And
What?
we're gonna
Sit
eat like kings.
Mountain bikers, because they come down. off
I'm
the
taking what I
edge.
can get
Yeah, it
tomorrow.
doesn't matter.
We're
Doesn't
shooting
matter.
something.
Some of that long pork.
'Cause they're going to
Delicious.
come pedaling down off the top of the hill.
Oh
this is a good way to get-
that guy Frank let me park.
Yeah, the guy that Frank lets us ride in off of this property
Frank
here.
loves mountain bikers.
But yeah, so you need to get something. I'm trying to get out tomorrow afternoon, and I'm gonna get like 6 deer myself.
Yeah.
So we need to go buy some,
deer tomorrow.
need to go buy some new freezers.
That's a promise.
We got some cool hunts coming up though, right? So
Yeah.
So you're gonna go down with Dudley. You're gonna go hog hunting.
Yep.
We're continuing to deer hunt. Gus is gonna come up here. We're gonna do some turkey hunting.
Yeah.
We got a coyote hunt in the works in the next couple weeks. And coyote's really cool because that's one of the few things you're allowed to hunt overnight.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. I'm excited
You just
about.
like to camp with a
Yeah.
bunch of guys.
Doesn't everybody? Yes, I love camping. What's wrong with loving camping?
Yeah.
What we got to
He's
do
very
is
excited about it.
we got to get a blind going, and the beef and I were talking today about acquiring one or making one.
We weren't in total agreement, but
I want to make it because this is the
We have to
hands-on
make it.
podcast and we do stuff with our hands. Why would we buy a bail blind? It's not super high tech.
no, it's not.
Dan's a great welder, but he said he can't weld it.
No, I didn't say that I can't weld it. I said that it's not
He said that he
ideal
could
to weld it because are you going to carry the whole bail blind
Yeah.
to where we're going, or are we going to take it apart? That was my point. Is we want to be able to take it apart, and once we weld it together,
Maybe we could
There's
weld.
really not a
Maybe we could
welder.
weld it in sections.
we can
I
weld
don't know.
a couple
There should be
pieces
some welding because
together.
welding's cool.
But I don't think that welding it together is a great idea. I think making one would be fine, but you know,
Well,
in time, in we don't. It's not like we have a ton of time. And you were talking about buying the outer cover and then buying the steel and then painting it, and you're looking at just about what you're going to pay for a bail blind. So
Don't use facts with me.
all right, so we're just going to go overboard. Spend more money than we need to, and we'll make it ourselves.
it'll be shitty.
It'll be super
We're gonna-
shitty,
The welds
super
will pop,
heavy.
yeah.
we'll make
Yeah,
it
like
out of
really,
aluminum.
really
we'll make it
heavy.
out of aluminum
Yeah,
and spend
Yeah,
even
yeah.
more money.
that's the way we should do.
And then put a bale in the middle of an oak forest.
Well, no, that's what we were talking about. We need to find some
Mhm.
hunting property because I don't really want to hunt with mountain bikers anymore.
Nope.
I'm kind of done with that.
Unless we're hunting mountain bikers.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of done with that piece of property.
We also, and I know this one isn't scheduled, but Dudley showed us the picture of freshwater rays and bow
Oh,
fishing
yeah.
for those. That
yeah,
looked
yeah.
fantastic.
That's right off of Cape May, right? No.
I thought
right
he said
around
it was Florida. No.
here. No, it was up here.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
What's the other?
if they're freshwater, it has to be in the Delaware, I would assume, somewhere. You said freshwater rays, right?
They were definitely
Can't be.
freshwater. He said.
Yeah. We will find out.
We're gonna have more information on that
Yeah.
coming up
Yeah.
soon.
We have no
Yeah.
idea what
Yeah,
that
we have no idea. Like we're just gonna like interject ourselves.
Yeah, we're gonna. Dudley's a genius. We're just gonna show up and shoot some shit.
No, but we are going bow fishing this spring.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Wait till it's nice and hot. Carp start
Yeah.
boinking. Bang 'em up.
We were having a debate.
So you're hunting tomorrow afternoon?
I'm gonna
You
try to
guys
get-
are hunting tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
Would you like to go?
I'll go to my property.
That's the problem with, okay, so going back to the property, that property, not that it does have sentimental value to that. It's the first place that we hunted. Our grandfather hunted there. Our dad hunted there when he was a kid.
I'm gonna
So there,
pick up Blair's Rock and I'm gonna move it to.
yeah, so there is like this like mystique about it where it's like this is where the Millers have hunted for a long time.
And not
And-
shot that. many pins.
No, Yogi shot deer a lot. Our father kind of broke that, kind of gave us the curse. But now the mountain bikers kind of screwed us over.
Mountain bikers.
Yeah,
totally
they fucking
screwed
just
over.
screwed us over, man. That piece of property is basically worthless now for deer hunting.
I don't think the mountain bikers screwed us over. I think the game warden screwed us
Wow.
over, that they're not enforcing the rules they should be enforcing.
That's besides the point because they shouldn't be in there, and then those should be in there. So
Nothing like a money buster to the back of the head.
Pat did say we were going to hunt them and shoot. Well, he did say we were going to shoot the mountain bikers out at the ATA, and the one guy was like,
Yeah.
I don't think we should go that. You don't think you should go that far?
Yeah.
Like, that was the craziest thing I said at the ATA.
The guy got kind of freaked out about it.
You want to come to our podcast?
Yeah.
It's like, not really shoot him. Like, shoot him with
when
like
the cameras turn off.
Yeah.
With a bunny buster, I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he
he's
was still
broadhead.
not down with it.
No, he didn't want to get.
Yeah. He did say that we should set up some what do you call those? The lines.
Trip
Fucking-
lines?
Yeah, trip lines.
Because that's better.
I don't think we should talk about this.
Yeah.
It's called incrimination.
Yeah.
We're not going to
I don't
actually.
think
do
it
it.
actually
No, that's a
happened.
terrible idea. It's a terrible idea.
Horrible. Don't ever do that. Yeah. Next thing you know.
It's like you're on
Knocking
video. I
on
can
our
see
door.
you winking. Our light just cut off.
Yeah.
A battery-powered light, since the groundskeeper here at Miller Brothers MMA is slacking,
Well, douche.
not putting in light bulbs.
On his behalf, there aren't any here because I looked.
Okay.
Hey, Kev wants to know if you do corner a hog, will it run away, or is their first instinct to attack?
They're gonna run away. Yeah, they run away.
And then they attack.
Yeah,
And
then
then
they
they
attack.
You know.
We met with that guy Kromka, Jim Kromka,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a pretty cool story about I guess he had already shot the hog,
Yes.
and maybe that's why it attacked. But it
Well,
it-
yeah,
it
and he was
definitely
standing right
attacked.
next to it.
He was standing over top of it, basically,
more or less.
poking it in the eye to see if it was dead.
Yeah.
Nobody likes getting poked in
And
the
it
eye.
It apparently was not dead.
He wasn't poking it.
No, I know.
He shot it. It dropped. He, poked it to see if it didn't move. Turned around, put the gun down, turned back, and then it's like up and
Yeah, up his shit. Right
goring
there.
his crotch area, and
But he won.
he did win.
He did win.
Did win. He was around to tell us the story.
Yeah. Showed me the pants.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what was in the pants, but
What else?
that's another podcast.
You're just
Sorry.
A little Jim on Jim action.
Are we really going to go there, Pat? So
Yes, so what?
so we're going to try to line up some more guests down the line for the podcast, and this isn't it's not an interview podcast, but we want to get some people on here and kind of, I don't know, change the conversation other than mountain bikers.
Yeah.
So
I look at it like, too, it's a good platform to get people that we kind of just want to bullshit with anyway.
yeah.
And force them to bullshit with us. Like Gus is going to come down. He's
Yeah.
got some crazy stories.
You
and
have no
that's awesome.
choice but
Yeah.
to bullshit
Yeah,
with
you
us.
have to talk to us. It's a good way to corner people and
Yeah.
force them to interact with us. 'Cause
Which
that's
most
not
people
easy.
don't want to.
No.
so.
Pat's going to be like, Cameron, you have to come on the podcast. Cameron.
You said you were going to reach out to him. For me.
Cameron.
Whatever. I don't care. Shut up.
You should have saw. I wish we had a picture of Pat's eyes when he saw him walking over.
I don't think that's true.
It totally is
I don't
true.
think that's true.
It is true. It's okay to have a man crush.
Yeah, it's all right.
okay.
I think you're just jealous that my man crush wasn't
Yeah.
you for that night.
And listen, I'm not jealous. I know who you're going to come
Yeah.
home.
Kim knows who you went home with.
But
We could have Cameron Haynes and
Uh-huh.
Martin Rooney on the podcast and see who gets to their man crush first. Me or Jim.
Jim,
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Jim was falling hard for Dudley out at the
Falling hard for Dudley.
He was like
Dudley's
Uh,
got
googly eyes
a
all
lot of
over
archery
him.
knowledge.
He does have a lot of
Yeah.
archery knowledge.
He was all
Do you
over
know?
him.
He stabbed somebody.
He did, and I commend that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
It was for a piece of meat too.
was,
so,
yeah.
so I completely
I just
commend
stabbed
that.
Pat because he was
That is-
stupid.
that totally worth it.
You
You take your fucking
yeah.
take his hot dog. You deserve to get stabbed, you son of a bitch.
If I got
Plus the
stabbed
guy-
because I was stupid, it was stupid that I trusted you
Yeah.
to practice safe
no,
knife
no,
handling.
because you decided to.
Rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat,
Don't
baby.
baby.
No, he decided to be a bitch.
Be a bitch.
Go,
With a
oh,
little
pickerel!
fish.
What do I do with a pickerel?
It was not about what do I do with the pickerel. It was
What do I do with the pickerel's teeth?
I didn't want to crush him. I
He
was
was being a nice.
yeah, I was gently
Human
holding the
being.
pickerel and I was removing the hook that I had just set into his mouth. And
Oh.
and I didn't want to crush his insides and he fucking freaked out and bam.
You ever heard of gilling something?
You ever heard of when you're done with your knife, put it in your fucking pocket?
Yeah, putting it away.
Yeah, you
It's a
piece of shit.
folding knife. It's not like it's a.
Yeah.
It's a. You're talking about a multi-tool. So all I had to do was
I was in the
fold it
middle.
away.
I was
Just
in
fold
the
it away.
middle.
Why don't
Fold
no?
it
I
away.
got a better idea. Why don't you leave a live blade
I was in
out on a canoe and
All
then
right.
lean in aggressively
All
with your
right.
giant head?
All right,
Change
Rainbow Bright.
the entire weight of the boat and put a blade.
All
But
right,
I
Rainbow
was
Bright,
being stupid.
I'm gonna leave you
You
hanging
can bring
next
that
time.
up. You can bring that up.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
I don't care.
I would
Yeah.
love to bring that up.
Yeah.
Hey guys, the
Next
podcast is
time,
over.
hey,
Thanks for
doesn't
tuning
matter.
in.
Doesn't
just don't
next
like-
time you're having a fishing contest against your aunt and me,
Who we
Just-
obliterated.
just
Yeah. Oh, we crushed him.
we killed you.
We crushed him.
freaking
That
killed you.
catfish alone weighed more than everything you caught.
Yeah, we caught a fucking
75-pound catfish.
175
190
pound
catfish.
Just row over to my
Irish
boat.
snapper.
Just row over to our boat, and I'll pull the hook out for him.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, now I know the super line trick.
Yeah.
It's
you
still-
want Jim doing the super line trick?
It
on
still
you.
would be because it was a weird spot to get. I mean, it was like basically in the webbing of your thumb. It
It
still
was.
would have been. There's a lot of play. You know, like I've seen that guys do that, like arms and stuff like that.
I gave it a valiant effort too to poke it through so we could cut it off, and just did not have the guts. It started hurting like crazy. So it was easier to let you cut it a little bit and then stab me in the
Shit.
foot.
Yeah.
Who was telling us that they fell on their knife?
Casey from Mountain Ops.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the story to know how this came about is we were out at the ATA and we had business cards because this is a professional podcast, and Jim put the pictures from when he stabbed me on the back of his
Instead of
on the back of my card instead of the
Yeah.
picture of me under the rainbow, which I don't like because
which we can probably put up here. It's got to be in your computer.
It's not my computer.
no, it's not. I looked.
I looked.
So every
I'll
time
post it to my Facebook page.
Yeah.
every time I handed somebody a card, the front of it looked super professional, and they would turn it over and they'd be like, "What the fuck?" And it's me holding a bass. It's not even the pickerel that
Yeah.
got
That bit
away,
him.
and then it's a picture
That
of
went to bite him,
of the
and he
hook in
jumped.
my hand, and
Well, it's you holding the bass with your bloody sock
yeah,
or your bloody shoe.
my shoe filled up quick.
Listen, the whole it's.
It did.
I am an expert salesman. Like I understand this.
Yeah, you
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a.
Salesman
Listen,
of the
I
year.
know what this podcast is. This is not like an educational podcast. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
Really?
Really.
What have
I
we
thought
been
we were-
doing all this
yeah.
time?
Pat and I
So-
have been trying to
so
educate
if
the
it's-
people.
So if we're so if we're leaning more towards comedy, why not?
Yeah.
You know, entertainment. Why not make the
Listen,
card a little more entertaining?
The other picture was way better, too.
It was way better.
But that would have been a good story. It would have been like, "Hey, this is my fat buddy Pat, drunk under a rainbow."
Yep.
That's not a good story. That's the end
Completely is, yeah.
Well, yeah, and that doesn't
No,
play.
but it's
A good
definitely
thing-
memorable.
good. You're playing the sympathy card. You know, he has the
Sympathy card.
sympathy card. Everybody sees him holding a little
Little
fish,
tiny fish,
little tiny fish, and a
hook in his thumb.
hook in his thumb.
But
and a
now
It
you
was
have
literally
now you have
every
to
time
tell
we
you
went
have to
to
tell them a
somebody.
story. You have to engage them more.
Yeah,
they're
but
like,
by
"Just
the end
damn
it
it,
was like
Jim."
faster.
by the end it was like, yeah, Jim Stabby.
Yeah.
Hey, here's my card. Jim stabbed me.
Yeah.
So
He was
hey,
so
we-
tired of it, it didn't even
Yep.
make sense anymore.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
why the
We had
the
other
rainbow
people-
picture would have been way better.
Other
How would
people
we
fixing
explain the rainbow picture?
that I made the cards and I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
That you're an asshole. But Casey from Mountain Ops did have a better story. That
did.
that when he was little, he fell on a knife and it went, and he had the scars to prove it. It went in one eyebrow and then out the other. And I guess the way he fell, it just kind of like skimmed off his skull and went through his eyebrows. That sucks. Mine
Our
wasn't
older
so
brother got stabbed.
You stabbed him.
Shut up. He stabbed himself.
How did you not bring that up when Dudley was talking about stabbing people?
Seriously.
I was like 2 years
As
old.
a serial
I don't
stabber.
remember.
A fellow stabber.
Yeah.
Fellow
I don't
stabber.
remember. It doesn't count. I was like 2. I had a knife, and Michael tried to take it away from me. He was pulling and pulling, and then I let go, and he fucking stabbed himself in the head.
What kind of parent lets a 2-year-old hold a knife?
That asshole over there. So my mom was at work, and he was watching us.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Here's a knife. Go
Here's
play.
a knife. They'll learn.
Just make it a clean cut.
But the problem is, every knife he's ever owned
Hey.
is
It's
super dull.
dull. Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
fucking dull.
Yeah.
Hey, no, they only did it once.
Proof's in the pudding. I'm going to go home tonight and give my boys a knife.
Touche.
Lesson learned.
I don't even remember it, so there's no
Yeah.
lesson learned. I only remember the story. That's
Yeah.
it.
There are many stories.
And that's okay. Jim hooked himself in the forehead.
Yeah,
or
no,
the
that's right.
eyelid,
No,
Yeah.
not the eyelid. Directly in the middle of the forehead.
because he was afraid to pick up a pickerel too. So.
No.
No, I think he was
No.
casting like an asshole.
Yeah, no. I was stuck in the weeds.
So he
I-
yanked it out.
So that's exactly what I did. Is I got stuck in the weeds a couple times, and I was using like one of the tiny little Rapalas, and I started getting hooked again, and I was getting pissed. So I snapped the rod, and it just shotgunned out of the water, stuck me right in the forehead. And then I had to walk down Stanhope Road, holding a fishing lure that was stuck in my forehead. Back to my friend's house, and then they call Dad, and he comes over in his overalls in the dead middle of July. He's in overalls.
They were shorts.
No,
though.
they were
Overall
short
shorts.
overalls. Only one strap up.
No shirt
No
on.
shirt on.
He's got a loaded 2x4s on
Yeah.
one shoulder, scoops you up with the other hand.
Yeah. And he's like, you got any needle nose pliers? He's got this huge truck full of tools
Yeah.
and doesn't know where his needle nose pliers are or pair of pliers.
You asked the kid's parents for needle nose pliers?
Yeah.
Different level right
And
there.
they ripped it out of my forehead. I still have the lure.
I cut the fucking end off.
No, you didn't.
Sure I did.
No, you didn't.
I cut the
No, you didn't.
barb off. I didn't.
No, you didn't. I still have it.
I thought I cut the barb
No.
off.
No, it didn't go all the way through. It didn't like roll through. But yeah, it didn't even hurt. 'Cause I'm a man, baby.
Yeah. I remember you as a kid. You were definitely a man.
Uh-huh. Still blood on their ceiling. Because even as a kid, my knives were sharper than Dad's. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Totally true.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that's all we got for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Hands On Podcast. On behalf of everybody, thank you and have a good night.